Hi, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request for Phil. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, request in any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in info box. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate not only your generosity, but your patience. But yeah, just if you sent them, may take some time for me to get them, but just be patient. I'll get them as soon as I can, so thank you. And this is for the Tommyknockers. Now, before I get into the film, which I know it's a miniseries, but at times I will call it a film, because it is essentially a film, just a longer film, but before I even get into that, the whole thing with miniseries, in particular Stephen King miniseries. Now, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. When I was growing up in Iowa, we had 4 channels. 2 versions of CBS, PBS, and ABC. And ABC was the channel we as a family watched more of. Whether it be Home Improvement, Roseanne, The Drew Carey Show, TGIF, Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step, all that stuff. Another big thing for ABC was the event movies that were premiere. And for a while it was Stephen King. I remember the hype and the hoopla and the buzz of being excited to sit down and watch the new Stephen King miniseries because there was It, which I enjoyed It. I saw that when it debuted on TV and really enjoyed it. To this day, I still liked it. I think it's my favorite Stephen King miniseries. There was The Stand, which I liked The Stand. More so the first half. The second half, especially the third act, I think kind of fizzled out. But I liked it. I did not see the new The Stand. I heard it was dog shit, so I didn't bother. And I didn't get requested it, so I'll take the word for it. But I liked the original The Stand. I did more so the first half. The cast, all that jazz. Now, as time went on, the hype and the excitement died down. I think what killed it for me was The Shining, because I love the Stanley Kubrick version. I love that one. I know there's differences from it in the book. I don't care. I still thought it was a damn good movie. I did not like the miniseries at all. I could deal with maybe Rebecca De Mornay's performance, but other than no, I didn't like it. I thought that felt more bloated than Kubrick's film, and I didn't think it was nearly as intense and nearly as well made. And the topiary animals and all that shit. Where's Edward Scissorhands to go kill him and take pieces and shove it up his fucking ass? I don't know. And there were other miniseries that either grew on me, like Storm of the Century. Because I remember first seeing that, I went, I don't know about this. Then I saw it, I think a few years ago, and I remember liking it. Remember liking it more than I originally did. Give me what I want, I'll go away. So that one, it's not a bad one. But I didn't see Bag of Bones or Pierce Brosnan. I don't think I've seen Rose Red. I don't think. I keep wanting to say Teenham Hospital, but that's not it. That's Stephen King developed it, but it was based on, I think it was Lars von Trier story that was based on. It was like a 13 episode show, like season of a show, which I never saw that because I think Stephen King presented that one, so it's not really what we're talking about here. The Golden Years I never saw because it looked boring as shit. But It and The Stand, enjoying those, and this was the first bump in the road where I go, oh, okay, just because it's a Stephen King miniseries does not mean it's going to be automatically great. This is coming from a guy that could watch The Langoliers. Yes, despite the fact that it looks like the effects, the creatures, if Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man found out they were brother and sister after they boinked, and then they had a bunch of inbred kids, and this is what they look like. No wonder they're so fucked up, and they look so fucked up. They are so fucked up. Inbreeders! So, that's what happens, where Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man fucked. And it's like the Luke and Leia. They found out later they were brother and sister, but thankfully Luke and Leia didn't fuck until before they found out. Wasn't lucky for Pat-Man and Miss Pat-Man. What did their kids look like? Watch the Landoliers. So that is shit. But I like the story and I like the cast. Dean Stockwell. I think it was David Morse, the bad guy in Disturbia. I liked that cast. Bronson Pinchot, campy, over the top, having fun. Fun performance. It's campy, but I laughed. Maybe it wasn't supposed to, but it was fun. I don't remember anything about Desperation. I don't remember anything from some of these others. The original Sam's Lot wasn't for me, but I could respect it. But this one is, of the ones I've seen of the Stephen King miniseries, one of the most bloated and forgettable ones. I'm not going to say the worst one. The Shining is probably still the worst one I saw. Again, I didn't see those golden years or other stuff, but this one was just... First off, from what I understand, people thought the novel sucked. So you're basing off a novel that people already think is shitty. Second off, you hire director Louis Teed, who knows how to do Stephen King because he did Cujo. Which, yes, I know they're doing another Cujo because that's what the world needs. Another adaptation of Cujo. So I'm trying to roll my eyes around in a 360 to go right back to where they were. But Louis Teed, he did Alligator, Cujo. I like him as a director. He got fired 2 days in because he was too slow, and I guess he wanted to do stuff that, well, we can't do that for TV, Louis. So he got fired 2 days into filming, and they got some guy who did TV work. And it shows, because it definitely feels like TV production value. Because It and The Stand, yes, they're TV, but they felt a bit more than their TV. There's elements and moments and shots that felt above and beyond just the TV form. This, the entire way through, felt like TV, production value wise, effects wise, scope wise, all of that, and a bag of chips. And then, from what I understand, they were filming, and they didn't even have the second part, because this was a 2-night event. Because with commercials it's 4 hours, but if you take out the commercials it's really like 3 hours. Because if a 2-hour regime, they'll have like 30 minutes of commercials interspersed. So technically each part would be about an hour and a half, so it's about 3 hours. So that's part 1, part 2. With that said, the second part, the second night, the script for that was not even finished. And you can kind of tell, because the second half especially felt like, well, this, yeah, well, I guess, well, that could happen too, and I don't know how much is different from the novel. I think in the novel, everybody died, but not in this movie. But it's like, well, why take a novel that people thought sucked anyway and make that into a movie? Now, I say that, but I'm also thinking, well, actually, let me take that back. There could be good elements, and then you could rework it. So it's not like, oh man, this is such a great prose, this is such a great novel, and you can't touch it, you can't finesse it. No, it's a shitty novel from what I've heard, and you can make something better. What can we do better? What can we improve on it? What can we do? But yet they didn't. Because it's still not that good of a movie. Not that good of a miniseries. And what's sad is that I like it's got a good cast. Like the cast in this. Mark Hilgenberger, who I like in films Species. She was on CSI. I liked her. Jamie Smith's my favorite guy in the movie. And then I know, fuck it. I know it's a miniseries. I'm gonna call it a movie from here on just because. Fuck it. Jamie Smith is my favorite in the movie. I like Jamie Smith. I always thought he was a good, underrated actor. I thought he didn't get as many good roles as he could have and should have. I mean, it's a shame. But I liked him in this. That's what kind of sucks, is that I liked his character. I liked his acting. I wish it was in a better movie. John Ashton, may he rest in peace, from Beverly Hills Cop, Taggart, he's in this. Robert Carradine for Revenge of the Nerds, he's in this. Joanna Cassidy, who I've liked, she was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, among many other films. E.G. Marshall, who was in Creepshow, I like him in this. He's a good actor. You got Tracy Lords in it, but she's very nice to look at. Cliff DeYoung, who I've seen, he was in Connoisseur 2. He was in this film from the 80s I like called Pulse with Joey and Matthew Lawrence, 1988, I believe. He's the dad in that. So there's a lot of people I recognize, a lot of actors I do like. And I'm sure they signed on because, hey, it's Stephen King. You look at It and The Stand and The Success. And well, actually, The Stand might have been after this, because now that I think about it, that was 94. If that's the case, then they definitely... When was The Stand? Was that 94 now? It was, okay. Well, damn, they stepped it up. I mean, they go from It, and then they went down for Tommyknockers, and then they went back up for The Stand. So, credit to that. I guess they learned with their mistakes of the Tommyknockers. Let's try a little bit more with The Stand. The plot of the film, let me get into that since I'm 12 minutes in. But yeah, bear with me. This is a 3-hour thing. We're in the small town in Maine. Of course, it's Maine because it's Stephen King. 8 out of 10 times it don't take place in Maine if it's Stephen King. I say 8 because, you know, The Running Man. Oh, I'm sorry, Richard Bachman, Running Man. Other stuff is not. But anyway. You have a small town, and pretty much the first hour, like the first half is more of an introduction of the characters. And introducing the event for more of the chaos to happen in the second half. So you have Mary Helgenberger as this writer. You have her husband, Jimmy Smits, who's a recovering alcoholic, although he does, after a poetry session, some things go wrong, and he does start drinking. And actually, one of my favorite scenes in it is these people are talking trash to him, so he puts his drink down a woman's tits, and then he takes like an umbrella, and he's like, "Caramba, you stupid ass." And he scared the shit out of this guy. You know what they say, God doesn't care for cowards. And he goes out the window, but he doesn't realize it's too high. And he has this nightmare about his wife being in trouble. And Jimmy Smits is trying, man. He is trying. And I feel bad because, again, I wish he had a better movie, better script around him. I really do. Before going with the characters, Mary is out there with the dog, finds something in the woods, starts digging it, and there's this green glow. And it makes her more obsessed to dig things up. And people, I guess the idea is that if people are in the woods, they start getting infected with this. But then also people who haven't been in the woods. So I guess the more they uncover, it can kind of sweep among the town, I guess, like a virus or something. Because sometimes it's like, well, you have to be in the woods to be infected. But then other people, they were never out in the woods and they still got infected. And then I'm sitting there going, okay, I guess sometimes you see they could kind of go through the ground with these like light slices of green. I'm like, what? Okay. But then when you find out what's really going on, it's like, okay, was that like a psychic thing? I don't know. I mean, to try to explain some of this shit is going to be a bit annoying. Probably because you didn't have a fucking script finished for your second half of the shit, of the show. And I get the idea behind it. People are getting this intelligence, so as they get infected, they feel good, and they're able to start building things. They're able to start building inventions. So Mary builds a typewriter that types up this wonderful book within a day, within a night. Someone at a store builds something to buff out silver. A kid builds something and to create a great magic trick. But it's about really addiction. Because, from what I understand, Stephen King was writing the book when he was addicted to cocaine. I don't know if this is true, but I think this might have been the last book he did before he got sober. But it's... Imagine you're coked up and you're able to write all this stuff, but yet you're this fucked up person. You're superficial intelligence, but you lose your soul. I think that was the way he put it. So you got intelligent, but it's superficial because you're losing your humanity, you're losing your soul because of these events. And the characters, like I said, you got Mary, you got Jimmy Smits, you got Cliff DeYoung and Tracy Lords. They worked at the post office. Cliff DeYoung is having sex with Tracy Lords, and he's cheating on his wife. His wife is a deputy, played by Alice Beasley, who I recognize her. She's done voice work. If you ever seen National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, the nerdy girl with the glasses, that when she does this, she becomes... Was it Kathy Ireland? The love interest for Emilio Estevez? I think it's Kathy Ireland. I'm bad with names, so bear with me. But before she turns to that, it's Alice Beasley. And she's done voice work and among other stuff. You have Robert Carradine, who's at this diner, and he's a bit of a dick to the kids, these two kids. And then you got the wife character. E.G. Marshall is the grandfather who gets along with the grandsons, but not the best with Robert Carradine. Joanna Cassidy, she's the sheriff. John Ashton is one of the deputies, and there's this thing where he has a crush on her, but he hasn't said anything yet. And it's like this build-up with all these characters. And the more Mary uncovers, the more weird things happen. And sometimes this film did not need to be 3 hours long. I know this review is bloated, but you know what? That's actually fitting, because the fucking movie is bloated too. This film could easily be edited down to a 2 hour or so running time, and I don't think you would miss much. I don't think it needed as many characters as it did. And also, like, it felt like not much happens. Especially in the first half, I should say. Like, the first half, it's, again, introducing the characters I mentioned. There's a scene at a vet where the dog is going wild and crazy, and then they're like, get your dog out of here. And then you see the other pets. But this is such a weird scene because there's dogs in there, but then someone has an owl. Someone has a fucking iguana Komodo dragon, looks like a dinosaur. And then someone has a cobra. I find it funny that the cobra is loose and no one is worried about the cobra. They're worried about the fucking dog. Listen, I don't care if a dog is barking. If a fucking cobra is loose, I'm more scared of the cobra not the barking of the dog. But they're all centered on the dog. I'm like, be centered on the cobra. Who the fuck brought a cobra to a vet? What's a vet going to do with a fucking cobra? Take his temperature? Do vets even deal with cobras? If anyone that watches a veterinarian, please let me know, do you ever deal with cobras? And not Cobra Commander or Stallone. Like, does a vet deal with cobras? Call the G.I. Joe, maybe. I don't know. I always thought it was weird. Why the fuck is there cobra there? And the effects when the stuff is glowing green, sometimes the green, you can tell, is not attached to the surface, or sometimes it's not quite there. Like, it's trying to be at the surface, but then it's kind of a little bit off-center and off-kilter. And it looks really campy. It looks cheap. It looks like something from a 1950s movie at times. The green glow. Back in 1978, we had kryptonite, and we had the crystals that Superman had, the Fortress of Solitude, and that shit looked better from the 1970s. But this was 1993. Apparently, even though this takes place in Maine, they shot in New Zealand because I guess it's cheaper. And apparently the crew did not know what the fuck they were doing. Did the post-production not know what the fuck they were doing too? Or they just had no money? I don't know. So yeah, other than introducing the characters and the thing with the vet, E.G. Marshall gives one of his two grandsons a magic kit because the kid's into magic. People are doing inventions. Mary does something for a hot water heater and then a typewriter. The deputy lady, Alice Beasley, she starts seeing that the TV is talking to her, saying your husband is a cheater and you know what you need to do, you need to kill him. I'm like, was this deputy in the woods? Because I thought you'd only be infected if you're in the woods. When was she in the woods? But I guess it's spreading. But then it's not... Well, whatever. It affects some people different from others. Like, E.G. Marshall was there, but he wasn't as much affected as other people. Joanna Cassie, the sheriff, and John Ashton were affected a little bit with a headache, but not to this extreme. And I know Joanna was in the woods, but not Alice Beasley. But anyway, one of the grandsons does a magic trick on his brother, disappears, but then can't find his brother. So they're trying to look for the kid. They go in the woods and look for the kid. They can't find the kid. And meanwhile, Alice Beasley finds out that Cliff DeYoung is cheating on her, so she creates his device. So he tries to change the TV and he gets electrocuted. Then, like, the next time we see her, she's in an insane asylum. That seems like a big jump for her to get found out, get arrested, a trial, insanity, go to the cuckoo nest, but yet this seems like it's happened with a matter of days. Like the story here. Or maybe a week. But how the fuck did Alice Beasley get to a mental institution already, and then you never see her again? She's not in the second half at all. And the one thing I remember from this film, this miniseries from back in the day, the one thing, that's why I was tears when I got this request to rewatch it. What was two things? One was Jimmy Smith's, a good thing, and one was Alice Beasley saying, Tommyknockers, knocking at the door. Because I think Tommyknockers, it's the story about, I think, miners, and they like heard knocking, and was it a ghost or not? So I don't know if it was the ghosts of the miners, or miners heard knocking and thought it was ghosts. And I forget the details, but something about that is Tommyknockers. And in this film, which I think is a real life legend, but it's also in this film where they don't go in the woods because the Tommyknockers will get you. And I'm like, well, Tracy Lord's knockers can get me. But sadly, that's not the case. That didn't happen. Of course, it's TV, so Tracy Lords could not show her tits. A shame. I think the joke was, well, here's another movie where Tracy Lords and knockers are connected. But yeah, Alice Beasley, the deputy who killed her husband, electrocuted him, she's at the mental institution. Tommy knocked at the door. And the first half of the miniseries ends with the town looking at the fireworks. And then they start glowing green. And then you have like the poster shot of like the glowing green over the hill, the woods, and at the town. And I'm like, did this really need to be this fucking long of a story? Does it feel like there's much story there? And also, I'm spoiling already, but I don't jump to the, I don't even think you call it a twist. You find out that what's in the ground is a spaceship. It's a UFO, it's a spaceship. And at the end of the film, Jimmy Smits and Mark Heldenberger go down there. They find the opening. The boy that's been kidnapped is in there. Using him, I guess, as a battery. I guess what the aliens do is that they suck their life force or something. But then give them this intelligence to make them feel good. But they're being sucked out like a fucking space vampire. Life Force did that better, you know, space vampires. That video game I played, that I want to play, House of Ash. Was it House of Ashes? God damn it. I actually want to play that game again. That was a really good game. House of Ashes? Yes. That did that much better. Much fucking better. Can we have a movie of that instead? House of Ashes? Anyway. But then like it's like different shit, just random shit will happen just because. Okay, you think it's centered on people getting infected, they're around this artifact, this UFO. But no, you can not be in the woods and still be infected. And okay, it makes you create inventions. It's like, parties like, why? I guess just because. Thank God the aliens made it so this woman could have a typewriter and this woman could have a silver buffer. But then also they could read minds. Again, the green force can go through the ground, slicing through the ground, and go directly to a telephone booth to try to get Jimmy Smits. Or to go over here. It can make a woman talk to a TV. It can make dolls come to life. Yes, because that's where you get to the second half. The sheriff, Joanna Cassie, is tapped by a bunch of dolls. Don't get me wrong, the one that looks like a scarecrow doll is creepy looking. But then I'm like, did Charles Band make this movie? Is he making this scene? A bunch of dolls coming after Joanna Cassie, and that's how the sheriff gets taken out. She gets knocked out, and then the next thing we don't even really see her. We just know that she's in this shed with a few others. It looks like they got a bunch of fucking rock candy on them. I guess they're dead, I guess. Or they're juiced up, their batteries as well. But then the kid was taken earlier, but his battery's still going, and he's alive. And the dog is alive. The dog was the first to be taken, and so why is the dog still alive, but Joanna Cassidy is killed? Like, the dog was taken first, and he's in the same shed. A lot of this doesn't make any fucking sense. And this is a woman gets attacked by dolls. John Ashton, him and E.G. Marshall, kind of, more so E.G. Marshall, kind of figure there's something screwy going on. They're with the second grandson in another town at a hospital. E.G. and John Ashton decide to go back to the town and see what's going on, try to find out. John Ashton tries to get a drink, and the controlled townsfolk booby-trapped a vending machine. So John Ashton gets caught, and he gets blown up by a fucking vending machine. Okay, you know what? I saw that done better in Maximum Overdrive, with the soda machine hits the guy in the head. At least that movie is consistently that tone of just a fun, over-the-top, balls at the wall, crazy, power up at the beginning, AC/DC music from beginning to end, Green Goblin semi-trucks, bazookas in the basement of your local truck stops. Who made who? We made you! Well, hell's bells. What the fuck's going on here? Like, it's consistently fun, at least. You say it's intentional, you say it's unintentional, but goddamn it's fun, and that's cocaine done and used the right way by Stephen King. But this is like, it wants to be super serious, but then it wants to have a guy get blown up by a vending machine and a lady attacked by dolls as if it's a new fucking Puppet Master movie. Or the sequel to that movie, Dolls, which was not Charles Band. I don't think it was Charles. It was Stuart Gordon who directed that. I like Dolls. It's a good movie. Oh, how about a lipstick laser? Yeah, Tracy Lords creates a lipstick laser. That she does this thing that kills two cops. That looks like someone from a Superman TV show. In fact, that's an insult to Lois and Clark, so I apologize to Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. But this is what I'm talking about, where it does feel like the TV feel of it. The look of it. The effects. A fucking lipstick laser. And the green psychic wave thing can again go on a wave towards Jimmy Smits, or to create this barrier so he can't walk across town. Just a lot of goofy shit is what I'm getting at. The reason Jimmy Smits, he's not infected, he's not changed, is because he has a metal plate in his head from a skiing accident from years and years and years ago. And Mark Hildenberger, although she is controlled, she still wants Jimmy to be with her and join them, so she'll stop like Tracy Lords from trying to kill him. Although I'm thinking, well, isn't the Tommyknockers, aren't they controlling all these people? So why don't you just tell Mark Hellenberger, fuck off, and just kill Jimmy Smits with your magic super... green wave of death, or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Long story short, they did a lot. They did a lot of digging. Rather dig into my ass with my finger than watch this again. Until you get to the bit where, like I said, the Jimmy Smits pretends he's changed. Part of that junkie aspect where these folks seem like they feel good, but their health is depleting and losing their teeth. Yeah, like a crackhead. So they turn the crackheads. Like Stephen King, bona fide crackhead. Jimmy Smith pulls a tooth out, pretends he's changed. They're able to get into the ship. And it's a very cheap looking ship. I mean, it's a very cheap looking. I mean, I've seen Roger Corman produced B movies like Galaxy of Terror look better than this. I really do. And they use like shit from McDonald's and look better than this. And the aliens, I don't mind the look of the aliens. It's done practically, and I don't mind their design. I don't. You don't see it a whole lot, but I don't mind their design. And I'm not going to try to describe it. You can find pictures online of it. Jimmy Smith does to kind of a fight with one, cuts his head off. I guess by cutting that one's head off, it's changed Mark Hildenberger, although it doesn't change anybody else up top. So I don't know why that is. Like, why does she go back to normal, but nobody else? Does each alien control each person? There must be a shitload of aliens in this ship, then. Is that how it works? Does each... See, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that just... I don't know what the fuck's... how they explain it. So he cuts the alien's head off, and she's tiered, but nobody up top is tiered. I don't know why. They find the kid, the boy. I don't know why in the shed, the dog who was put there first is alive, but then the sheriff is like so filled with rock candy, whatever, or Crisco, or Clearasil, or lube, or whatever the fuck. You can't even see her face anymore. And E.G. Marshall, he's there for like overnight. Maybe one night and then is pretty much dead. He does help out one time, one thing, and then dies. But the dog survived all this time. So we can't kill the dog. Okay, I'm not asking you to kill the dog. I'm like, well, why? There must be underdog. Must be a super dog. I'll say that. Keep an eye on that dog. It's going places. And like, okay, this kid. Would the alien really want the kid as a power source when they want other people as power sources? I guess they only need one kid as a power source. Okay. It's funny how they have more people in the shed than they do in this spaceship for your power, whatever the fuck. So Marge is now healed and fine, and she gets the kid out, and Jimmy Smith says he has to stay behind because he seems quickly to know what to do and how to do it. So he's able to get them out, and he's able to lock the door, and he's able to get in this thing. Looks like he's ready for a Lawnmower Man. And I mean, Jimmy Smits is trying. I liked him. I liked his performance. I liked his character. He gets to blow up an alien's head that's trying to come for him. He's like, that's cool. He gets to be the hero, save the day, but man. Marge gets in a fight with Tracy Lords. E.G. Marshall helps out and chokes her. Marge helps the kid and the dog. They get to safety. Jimmy Smith lifts the ship out in very cheap special effects. Blows it up. She cries, of course, it's the love of her life. The kid goes back to her mom. I'm sure they don't want to see the other kid across the other town. And there you go. I mean, even the ending, I mean, like I said, the novel, apparently everybody dies, so they changed that, which, for the better in my opinion. But, still, I like John Ashton, he fucking dies. Like, getting blown by a fucking vending machine. I like Joanna Cassidy, she fucking dies. Because she gets dame banged by a bunch of dolls. Jimmy Smits dies, and like, well, that sucks. Like, all the people I actually like die. And, like, Mark Hellenberger did what she could. I mean, she does fine. I think because she's so influenced early in it, I don't know if I say I have a lot of a care for the character. I don't hate the character, but at the very least, it's like, if you somehow just let Jimmy Smits live, at least that'd be something. Or John Ashton, or somebody else. But no. So it just leaves with a bit of an unsatisfying ending for me, at least. The musical score came off as a bit generic at times. The effects, like the alien, didn't look. I've seen much worse. But the effects of the green glow look really cheap. Really, really cheap. And I keep repeating the word bloated. Like, this did not need to be a 3-hour fucking event. It really did not. I think with a few passes in the writing, uncomplicate certain things, fine line and fine tune certain things, change the ending a bit, and I think you could have something. But it seems like whenever you have Stephen King and aliens, you're always in trouble. Like Dreamcatcher. Which would I rather watch? I think Dreamcatcher pisses me off even more so. Because I remember seeing the trailer, and the trailer was actually well made, intriguing. But then when you watch the film, you go, what the fuck? They're shit weasels. Jason Lee dies, and then he's like never referenced again. So how much of a friend were you of Jason Lee's character when you completely forget about him? And then it's Thomas Jane talking to his gun like a phone, and the alien is called the Ripley, and Morgan Freeman's a bad guy, and I'm like, okay, but it's I am done it. What the fuck is this? So I'd probably rather watch this than that, but still. Again, like the deputy, Alice Beale, she just disappears in the second half. So part of me is like, did you even need... well, whatever. It is funny, like, she kills him, and she's, like, sitting on her couch, and the next time you see her, she's in a mental institution. I'm like, seems there's a lot of stuff in between that we know. And I swear the characters don't mention her. Like, you had a deputy. Like, especially you think, like, John Ashton, he would know. Yeah, we had a deputy kill her husband. Yeah, I think something weird's going on. And that's like never referenced in dialogue. When E.G. Marshall was trying to explain John Ashton, there's something weird going on in the town. I'm like, yeah, John Ashton, one of the deputies murdered her husband. You don't think something's up? And like I said, the town, like, they're playing and like the different like powers and what you can and can't do. Whatever. Either way, this I thought was, even though it has bad special effects, I'd rather watch The Langoliers, because that one, again, I like the cast and story and ending more to that film. I just wish it had an actual budget for the effects. It and The Stand, this is definitely not. Again, I'm not going to say it's the worst miniseries, but I would never see this film again. I saw this film once back when it premiered. This is now the second time. And unless I get a request for a commentary or a joint commentary or a commentary with me and Stuntman Mark or something else, make him suffer through this. That's the only way I would ever watch this film again. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.